Every year, me and a bunch of friends meet up for EGX. It's a great opportunity for us to get together in meet space and experience the UK's biggest games event. For those that haven't heard of it, EGX is held at the Birmingham NEC and features hundreds of console and PC games, developer sessions, esports, tabletop games, meet and greets, cosplay competitions, and a ton of gaming merch to buy. The venue is easy to get to by road or rail, and the event runs from Thursday to Sunday. Tickets are usually released 6 months prior and cost around £25, although their partners tend to offer lower price tickets, but these sell out really quickly. Virgin Media was the partner this year, so as customers we got half price tickets and early entry. I also got a loot bag with posters, playing cards, a t-shirt and a bunch of other stuff courtesy of Virgin Media. Unfortunately, it was all Destiny 2 themed. But free is free, right? Destiny 2's Forsaken expansion was the major feature of the Virgin Media section, but since none of us found Destiny to be our cup of tea, we gave it a miss. It's not that I didn't buy Destiny 2 at launch, I just didn't think it was very good. Maybe it's not the game for me, or my close friends, or anyone that I know at all. I heard Cade 6 died though, we'll see how long that lasts. One of the best things about getting together with friends is playing all the local multiplayer games we don't normally get the chance to play together. We sort those out primarily, and stopped first at Gang Beasts. It's a silly physics-based multiplayer party game with multiple game modes and levels that boil down to throwing your friends around in hazardous environments, and the winner usually being the last one standing. The game's been around in early access since 2014, and finally released at the end of 2017. So if you feel like you've seen this one before, you probably have. They're still releasing updates though, with the most recent being a train level. Not entirely dissimilar in concept, we also all sat down to check out Human Fall Flat's latest iteration, now with 8-player online multiplayer. Rather than just being a competitive brawler like Gang Beasts, Human Fall Flat is more about cooperation, working together to solve puzzles, moving blocks, building bridges, and pulling everyone else around is a lot of fun. So much fun in fact that we booted up the game the next day at home and played through it start to finish. The main criticism I have of the game is it being too short. The Steam Workshop did get partially implemented over a year ago, but it's still a work in progress. After playing so much Overcooked 2 at home, I really wanted to show my friends how much fun it can be. We stopped by the booth and tried to get a 4-player game going, only to find out it was using the Nintendo Switch controllers. All our previous experience went out the window when the controls were flipped upside down, although it did make it more fun, because nobody knew what was going on. We set more kitchens alight than I'd like to admit. I also got to meet His Royal Highness the Onion King, out and about on the show floor. I've got a full Overcooked 2 review on my channel though, so I won't linger on this one for too long. We took a look at a game called Pode by developers Henchman and Goon. It's a cute little co-op puzzle exploration platformer about a rock and a fallen star working together to get through the levels. It's beautiful, relaxing, and strongly influenced by Norwegian art and culture. The game takes extra care to ensure that if one player is struggling with a task, the other can help them out. It's only currently available on the Nintendo Switch, with a PS4 release coming soon. No word on PC yet though, and that's a shame because I'd really like to see where the adventure takes me in this game. One I'd certainly be keeping an eye on for the future. I got some hands-on time with Strange Brigade, which is a cooperative action-adventure game that released at the end of August 2018. I was lured in by the promise of it being like a multiplayer Tomb Raider with puzzles to solve, but the demo I played was a single-player score attack style horde mode. I didn't do well shooting with a controller, but apparently blowing myself up with a stray grenade was funny for everyone watching, so I'm glad they had fun. I'm not writing the game off, the premise is promising, but I'm not in any rush to fork out on a AAA pricing for a game I might like if I played with the right people. Fallout 76 had a big vault door and a Vault Boy statue for pictures behind the Bethesda merch stand. They were giving away plastic masks and cardboard hats. They also had a neat little van giving away Blamco mac and cheese and Sunset Sarsaparilla to anyone that tagged their pictures on social media. There was nothing on the game itself, however, with the release slated for the middle of November. We sat down to play This Is Pool, which is releasing on all major platforms in early 2019. Really strong flashbacks of my teenage years playing mini-clip games when I should have been doing homework. The team had a competition going to putt all 8 balls in under 90 seconds to win a t-shirt, with the fastest time each day getting their names put in the game. I failed miserably and gave up after a few attempts, but the physics were handled nicely and the visuals, although obviously limited in scope, were beautiful. Aside from the smaller indie titles, there are a number of bigger, flashier AAA games on show. Because these are more popular, queues can get a little ridiculous, with some being more than 2 hours long. So while we did have a look at games like Metro Exodus, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Hitman 2, The Division 2, Life is Strange 2, I didn't sit down and play any of them. For me, aside from the social experience, I like to use EGX for discovery. I already know about these big games, so it's a good opportunity to check out some of the smaller indie titles that I might not have heard of, and a lot of them are still really brilliant. You also get the opportunity to have a chat with the devs for the smaller titles, so it's just a much nicer experience. One of the bigger games I did sit down with was Black Desert Online's newest Dragon expansion. I haven't played the game in about 18 months, largely because of the pay-to-win aspects. I always think it's a shame it became so heavily monetized towards pay-to-win, because the game is beautiful, the combat is excellent, the scope and size of the map is enormous, the expansions have come thick and fast too, although by all accounts the West have been waiting for this latest one for a while now. BDO had a huge section with around 50 PCs and an esports area with a big screen, commentary and rows of seating for hosting 3v3 tournaments. All in all, a huge amount of publicity. Unfortunately, I'd completely forgotten how to play, but it was nice to run around for a while. The ship has sailed for me with Black Desert Online, I think, and I'm left reminiscing with anyone that'll listen about what might have been. Still, for anyone looking for an MMO with a low cost of entry and isn't concerned about keeping up with the Joneses, give it a go. We took a little time out to check out the special effects stand. They're one of my favourite gaming charities that work to come up with creative ways to make gaming more accessible to people with disabilities. From gaming controllers to eye control systems, every system they recommend or loan is personalised. Although laughter is a great healer in itself, it's not just about fun. It also helps bring families and friends together and has a positive impact on therapy, confidence and rehabilitation. Towards the end of the day, we all boarded the Republic of Gamers bus to play Grip. It's a combat racing game with boosts, weapons and power-ups, not unlike Blur, or just a grown-up Mario Kart. The game is already available on PC in early access on Steam, but I have to question the choice of marketing a racing game using a keyboard and mouse. Perhaps it's unique to me, but I really prefer my driving to be done with a controller. The hardware is the main focus of the ROG bus though, so the array of high-performance Asus laptops and PCs with all the fancy visual trimmings is worth taking a look at if it stops somewhere near you. One multiplayer game that looked fun that I didn't get the chance to play was Big Crown Showdown. A couple of friends did play and teamed up to beat a couple of strangers as they traversed through a number of fantasy-themed obstacle courses, all the while trying to knock each other off the platforms. There's no release date yet, but it's listed as coming soon on PC, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4. It was really good to see so many multiplayer games in the res section, particularly split screens and couch cooperative games for the PC. I guess it's counterintuitive naming, but a personal computer can be hooked up to multiple monitors or a TV. It doesn't have to be personal, it doesn't have to be a solo experience. The best example we found of local cooperative play was a game called Catastronauts by Inertia Game Studios. It's like a cross between FTL and Overcooked, two of my favourite games. Up to 4 players work together on a spaceship to charge power cells, fire weapons, repair breaches, extinguish fire, dispose of bombs, avoid solar flares and more, all in an effort to destroy the enemy ship before it destroys you. The Catastronauts booth was by far the best staffed, with about a dozen staff members on hand to answer questions for just 3 or 4 screens. The demo is lengthy, with 5 levels, each introducing a different concept to the gameplay. We actually went back to play through it again later in the day, because we had so much fun the first time around. It's releasing on Steam, Xbox One and PS4 on the 28th of September, with a Switch release also in the works for a later date. And finally, I can't do a roundup of EGX 2018 without including 2 Point Hospital. Having already played an awful lot of it over the last month, I didn't really need to play this at the show, although I was told it was the only way I'd get my hands on a 2 Point Hospital t-shirt. It was nice to see the enthusiasm around the game at the booth in the Sega section. I recently did a review of 2 Point Hospital, so do check that out. But in short, it's a light-hearted hospital management game, a spiritual successor to Bullfrog's Theme Hospital. I've left this one until the end because I'd managed to get some tickets for 2 Point Hospital's after party. After the show, we drove into the centre of Birmingham to meet up with the development team and spent a few hours in a bar with free drinks and free play pinball courtesy of Sega and 2 Point Studios. We all had a really nice time and want to give a big shout out to Lauren, the community manager for the game, for making us feel welcome. I just wish I had the confidence to speak to more people while I was there. So that about wraps things up. We had a great day and no doubt we'll be back at EGX again next year. There was a lot of good stuff on show in the res section this year, so it's possible that there's a trip to London in April on the cards to see the main res exhibit. But anyway, thank you for watching, really appreciate it, have a great day.